Hi, everybody. As people are signing in, welcome to the third of our series of virtual open houses from Alternatives Federal Credit Union. We're really excited to see you today. We have a lot of folks joining us from staff and the community. We've done 3 of these already since November 19th. The purpose is to be able to hear from our community and our members about their most burning questions about particularly financial issues that they have on their minds. We have a great roster of speakers who are staff at Alternatives, who are ready, willing, and able to serve you, who do this great mission-driven work year-round. And we know particularly, like, there's something like normally 67% of Americans are stressed at the holidays, either based on gift giving or worried about overspending or budgeting or worried about how to handle their finances. And particularly with COVID, that number has skyrocketed to 82% of people just being agitated. And we thought, particularly since many of us really live in the world of helping members manage stress and understand that we're there for them, we thought it would be really great to do this special Financial Freedom Friday virtual and live for you on holiday stress management and your financial health, and why financial health is something that we care about for all of you, not just now, but always. So I'm Courtney. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer. I'm going to introduce our CEO, Eric Levine, who will start our program, and also Grace, who is also in the marketing department and is a marketing manager. Grace and I are going to keep an eye on if people are having technical difficulties and try to get them signed in. Don't worry if somebody writes you and says, I can't get to the holiday stress management event, it's the most important event in the world. We're taping this and we're going to get it to other people who weren't able to attend or might have difficulties, but we'll be checking to see how people are doing. And so without further ado, I'll just let Eric take over. And what's going to happen in the program is whoever's going next introduces the next person. I have a question sent to me ahead of time, a couple of questions, and someone just texted me. So I'll throw those out. You'll see many members of our staff here who aren't in a speaking role today, but are in a very important role as well here, just helping us keep the mission alive in our minds and our hearts, and we'll be able to jump in and answer questions. And if you have anything that's left over, no problem. You can email any of us, or you can email me, and I'll make sure that the question gets directed to the appropriate staff member. All right, I'm done. Eric.
Hi, thank you, Michelle. I'm Eric Levine, the CEO of Alternatives, and I'm so pleased to welcome the community and our staff here today. We're wrapping up the third of 3 virtual open houses at year end, which is fittingly a roundtable discussion of holiday stress management related to your financial health and prosperity. We know the holidays can be a hard time for people financially, particularly during the pandemic. So we've assembled a team of Alternative staff today who are here for you now and in the future to help you with tools you need to make sound financial decisions and give you the support you need. Helping you navigate your finances, understand your credit, avoid predatory lenders, and finding the right solutions for you to build economic health and financial wealth are all parts of our mission. We're here for those who have been left behind by the mainstream financial industry, for people who have faced predatory lending and high interest rates. We see the person, not the credit score. We see you as a whole person with a story, with a dream, and we want to help you make your dreams come true. Be it refinancing an auto loan for better rates, buying a home, starting and maintaining a business, or just better understanding your credit, helping you build or rebuild your credit, offering you financial coaching and counseling, and so much more. We know that the holidays can be a stressful time, and we want you to know that we're here for you now and always. And with this in mind, I want to pass the virtual mic to Alternative's Chief Financial Officer, Kevin Mietlicki, who cares deeply about ensuring the success of our team, our members, and the community. Kevin?
Thank you, Eric. Again, I'm Kevin Mietlicki, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer of the credit union. And I got to say, it's been my pleasure to serve this credit union for the past 4 years here. I've been in credit unions for 30 years, taking care of the financial health and well-being of credit unions in New York State. You know, even credit unions too have to be adaptable and innovative to survive economic shifts and things like we've been going through this year in a year of COVID. My job here at the credit union is to ensure the financial health of the credit union so that we're here for our members, our donors, employees, vendors in the community that's come to rely upon us. As a CFO in today's world, we have to balance the old accounting techniques and that we've been brought up and learned with the new technology and new marketplaces that are recreating themselves every day. And COVID's been a period of time where we've had to relearn what it is that we do, how we deliver our goods and services to you. I'm charged with today of giving you some financial tips to help you get through the holidays maybe a little easier this year. One of the ones that I would bring up with is budgeting. The same way as the credit union has to stick to a budget, my suggestion is, make that list and stick to that Christmas budget. We're all going to have lives we've got to come back to and those bills that we have to pay on the other side of the holidays. And it's going to be easier to do when you can put that list down, have that budget of your holiday expenditures and stay with that. Another thing I want to warn you about this time of year is fraud. A good thing is nothing's for free out there. People have moved past the ideas of fraud that, we've had a deceased relative from Eastern Europe and just give a person our bank account number and they're going to give us money. So, not many people fall for that anymore. The emails I get every day are that Walmart wants to give me a free $500 gift card. All I've got to do is answer these questions, take these surveys. And they may not ask it for you right up front that you're putting in your bank account information, but they're going to ask for little bits and little pieces. And at the end of that, they're going to have enough information put together that you're going to realize there's money coming out of your accounts from sources you've not recognized. One, if that happens to you, call the credit union. We're here to help. We can take care of these things when they're caught early. Second is nothing's for free. Accept our financial services here at the credit union to our members. Please take advantage of the years of experience that our financial counseling team has in serving you, our members, and in serving the community of Ithaca and Tompkins County with great resources to help you with budgeting, to help you with savings, to help you with goals. All these things you can do with us here at Alternatives. We thank you for doing them in the past and look forward to serving you in the future. So with that, I think my time is done. I'm going to turn this over to my friend James, and he's going to take you through some lending tips. James.
Thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Financial Freedom Friday Open House. Again, my name is James Hunter, and I serve as the Chief Lending Officer for Alternatives. And I thank you all for taking the time out of your busy afternoons to listen to our offerings. I titled this "'Tis the Season for Stress-Free Lending Solutions." What I've done is prepared a short list of ways I think you can avoid financial stress while embracing stress-free lending solutions. Number one on my list is start with you. I think the journey to bridging the financial wealth divide begins with you, and your ability to evoke change involves a personal commitment to changing your behavior. Yes, I said behavior. I think that process is not easy, but it's worth the sacrifice. I think that if you are paying yourself first, you're taking care of home. As you've heard, we're going through a pandemic right now where emergency savings is at an all-time low. Last time I did my homework, 69% of all Americans had less than $1,000 in their checking account. 45% had zero. 40%, well, 40% of people of all Americans can't even afford a $400 emergency expense. So these things are very eye-opening, especially amidst a pandemic, which I'm pretty sure these numbers have worsened. So I think it's very important to hear these things. The other thing I say is that you got to determine a need versus a want. It's very important to say that there are things that you need and take care of them, but when it comes down to a want, you got to make the decision on what's the most important thing for you and if it's worth the time and effort. I'll give you a great example. When I looked at my financial snapshot, I realized that I have over 7 subscriptions to either Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Baby Shark. I mean, there's so many things that I have going on that come out of my account. It adds up to almost a car note. So I had to lay back and say, what do I really need and what do I want? And I made the decision based on that. The other thing I say is take the first steps to financial wellness by getting a financial wellness checkup at Alternatives. We are here, especially for the people who are with challenged credit and underserved, to offer them a mainstream financial industry that's there to serve them. Our lending staff is trained to help you navigate through any types of challenged credit that often leads to, in most cases, denials or extremely high interest rates. We have a variety of products that are designed to meet you where you are in your financial journey and let you achieve financial freedom. As you've heard, we pride ourselves on offering free financial counseling. If it's just something where you want to come in and talk to someone outside of a loan application, we invite that. From sound checking accounts to reliable and affordable consumer loans, all the way to business accounts and home ownership, we got you covered. So I challenge you all to take advantage of this opportunity and our team of alternatives and zone in on their knowledge and help them take care of you so they can help you with your financial worries. Last on my list is be an educated consumer and don't assume. Oftentimes, people believe that their credit is too bad or it's going to restrict them from receiving fair rates. And Alternatives, like you've heard from our CEO, Eric, we understand that bad things happen to good people. And we train our staff to help you pick up the pieces on your financial journey and move towards financial freedom. We are prepared and trained to help you understand your unique credit situation. And we are willing to help you identify ways to regain control of your financial future and get you approved for loans at fairly great interest rates. So don't make assumptions. Come out and see what we're about and see firsthand what Alternatives can do for you. Thank you all and happy holidays. I'm now going to pass it on to Kim Ritter. She's our Financial Empowerment Specialist.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Ritter, Financial Empowerment Specialist at Alternatives, and I wear a lot of hats, but one of my hats is financial counselor. I'd also do credit counseling, so I can help with that kind of stuff too. But today I'm going to be focusing on how you can avoid stress when it comes to holiday expenses. So this is something I talk to people about all the time, creating budgets, looking at their cash flow, what they have coming in, and then what their expenses are for the month. And around the holiday time, there's a lot of people that have questions about how to handle such a huge expense that only comes around once a year. So I have a couple tips. One is to remember that money is emotional. It's totally tied to your emotions, and especially, this year has been pretty hard on a lot of us, and there's a lot of stress. And I know that my family has expressed that they really want to lavish each other with gifts to make up for it. But there's not a whole lot of money going around either. So how do we deal with that? One way I would say is to, yes, make a budget, absolutely. Count how many people you want to give gifts to, and then figure out how much you would like to spend on Christmas or the holidays, and then divide that by how many people you have to buy gifts for. And of course, I'm going to get that question about, so what if I don't have enough money to go around, or I don't have enough money to buy gifts for everybody that I'd like to? And that's something that I've come across myself. And in this kid's situation, and I'm doing it this year too, we're doing a thrift and make it Christmas. So I have a list of everybody I want to buy gifts for during the holidays, and I've designated a dollar amount for each of them. And then if I feel, because it's emotional, if I feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm not giving enough, I've decided to make things. So I've decided a couple crafts that I can do. I'm utilizing my skills that I have to sew, to bake, to do whatever I can that's more cost effective. So I feel like I'm giving as much as I can to my loved ones, but also making sure I save money too, because I don't want to go broke on this. The other thing I would recommend this year and other years is to look at what other sources of income you have. If you are paid biweekly, that means that you get paid 26 times a year. And that means that you likely have 2 months out of the year that has an extra paycheck. So I often say, think about that as kind of like a bonus paycheck that you can save aside for your Christmas or your holiday spending. Also things like a holiday bonus, that's what I do. If we get a holiday bonus during the year or any other type of bonus, I say, okay, I'm going to set that aside for my holiday spending, and then I try to work my budget around that. If you're really good at saving and you're really, really good at not touching things, you could use something like a tax return or save monthly for those holiday expenses. I would also like to say that I would be happy to work with anyone, whether they're a member or not. So it's totally free, like Kevin said. If anyone would like to work with me on their holiday spending budget or anything else, I'd be happy to meet with them and talk about that. So please reach out. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Kathleen, who is our Director of Business Development.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks for those great tips. So I'm Director of Business Development at Alternatives, and I wanted to take a moment today to encourage everyone to think about our small businesses and shopping local through this holiday season. We know it's been a tumultuous year for our small businesses. They've faced unimaginable challenges. They've been completely shut down. They've had to make major changes in the way they operate in order to comply with health guidelines. And most are still experiencing a reduction in sales, forcing them to try to do more with less. These are families right here in our community, their neighbors, their friends. Money spent with their businesses goes towards their rent, their food, their basic living needs, and it stays here contributing to our local economy. In fact, when $100 is spent with a small business, 73 of those dollars stay here and are used for things like employee wages, other local business services, local suppliers, and local taxes. Spending that same $100 with a nationally owned business, only 43% is retained in our local economy. Think about past community fundraisers you may have been a part of. Small businesses are often called on to donate or support in some way, and they frequently find a way to do so. It's our turn to step up and support them. These are the businesses that make Ithaca unique and vibrant. Your favorite restaurants, maybe you have many, your bookstore, your hairdresser. With the uncertainty surrounding what's going to happen as COVID cases continue to rise, in January and February being the slowest months of the year for most of our businesses, I can tell you there's a lot of nervousness about if they can make it through, and they're relying on us to help. So what can you do? If you're doing your holiday shopping or have a few extra dollars to spend, look at local businesses first. So many have done a great job in making shopping in this environment easy and enjoyable, adding services like curbside delivery or gift cards when maybe they hadn't offered them in the past. Look for a local baker who you might be able to buy something to add to your small, safe holiday meal. I encourage you especially to think about BIPOC-owned businesses and how you can shop with them. You can look for a list of these businesses specifically on the Business Leaders of Color website, a partner of Alternatives. I'll add a link in the chat now, which will take you to the site. We've also been holding a virtual holiday market on the Business Sense Facebook page, and I encourage you to check out those vendors as well. Different businesses are featured every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the page, and will continue to do so through December 29th. So I'll add that link to the chat, or I'll add that link to the chat as well. So thanks for your time, and thanks for your supporting our small businesses. Michelle, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Kathleen, for all those wonderful tips and for everyone who shared resources, tips, and ideas. I'm going to open the floor now to questions. I have one question that came in ahead of time that I'm going to put into the chat box, and I think the best person for that question would be Kim. So it's, Is there a better way for me to earn more income on my money instead of having it sit in an AFCU savings account? This would have to be free of military, racist, materialistic investment, which is socially conscious and supports human rights. I think Kim will take the piece about what MoneyWise might offer and what we can do and what we don't do related to that question.
Right. So I do get this question quite often with people that I work with. They're looking to make their money work for them. And yes, we do offer a lot of low risk, low reward CDs, but when it comes to investing for retirement, we don't really have, we're not professionals in that area. So we usually recommend people take MoneyWise course that can give them a good foundation. And we also have a class where we have someone come in who is a professional in that area to give advice. That's Greg Pitts from Natural Investments. And he focuses entirely on the investment options that are sustainable, that are green, that are, you know, not your run-of-the-mill stocks. So he's really a great resource for that. I would also recommend people look at something called the heart rating. When they're choosing individual stocks, they can look at how, what effects they have on the environment, et cetera, so they can choose the ones that they want to focus on.
Thanks, Kim. Does anybody from the community have any questions that you want to ask folks who spoke or any of us who work here? If you don't ask us anything, I'll have to read James's bio again. James, as you know, is our new Chief Lending Officer. I'm taking a look at the registrants because some people had trouble connecting by Zoom. So I'm going to see if people need access to the room. I know that some people can be quiet on a call and may not want to unmute themselves. So what you can do is you can pop something into the chat box. And if there's anybody who spoke before and you feel like you didn't hit on something or you wanted to share something, that's fine. It's okay too if the community is quiet and feels like they have the things that they came for. So I'll just give a couple more minutes for that. Yes, Susie.
Yeah. What was that financial investment specialist name? Greg who?
Greg Pitts, P-I-T-T-S, from Natural Investments.
Oh, Natural Investments. What is that? Is that a company somewhere?
He's a wealth manager. He takes people's funds and invests them in stocks that are a little bit more conscious.
Yeah, that was my next.
Yeah,
that was my next question. Yeah, his company, Natural Investments, and he are trained in socially conscious investing.
Yeah, that's entirely what he does. So he doesn't have anything that is going to hurt the environment, that is, you know, sustainable for people, animals, all of that stuff. So
staying out of military production companies.
He does have a range of things. So that's where the heart rating comes in. The heart rating on his website has an overview of the stocks. So it will tell you if there's 5 hearts, maybe they aren't military investments. If this particular stock has 2, maybe they are a little bit. So you can really pick and choose and figure out. It makes it really easy to figure out exactly which stocks you would like to purchase.
What's his website?
It should be just naturalinvestments.com, but I can verify that.
Okay.
I'm just going to check.
Thank you, Susie. Here's a question that came in. The question is, Kathleen, you must know a lot about how businesses have been able to pivot during COVID. Are there 1 or 2 stories that you could tell that might give inspiration to other local business owners?
So one of the businesses that we saw pivot, 2 I'm thinking of are both food related. One that we saw pivot right off the bat was Luna Street Food. Immediately went to a delivery service. They also structured a grocery local delivery of fresh goods, not necessarily grocery, but fresh produce, which was something brand new for them, and has continued to pivot and change, as well as being involved in community aid throughout this entire time. So they, I believe, have actually grown through this time, been able to expand their team, which is huge. Another one is Biley Cravings. So Tal Cohen, a caterer, typically did weddings, worked with Cornell, some other local organizations, all for catering jobs, which of course have been closed, not available. Some very small weddings have started up again. But she started out of her home, creating individual meals or family meals that people were able to buy from her. She started immediately. She saw a post about a mom worried about their child's birthday. Soon we all would have expected or experienced a birthday in COVID, right? And so in the beginning, the thought of our kids not having their traditional birthday and seeing their friends or family members was pretty devastating. And she saw a mom worried about the kid's birthday and having a cake. And she started a service where she would bake a cake at no cost for anybody for a birthday cake. She accepted donations, but thought that was really important to keep some of our traditions and some things that we wanted to hold on to in play, which was a great way to give back to the community. And she's continued to expand that individual food service business, which has been really, really inspiring to see.
Thank you, Kathleen. Another question is, when you have challenge credit, it can be really difficult to face that or talk about it. What are some ways I could just get myself in the door?
I'm assuming this question's for me. So earlier I talked about the different hats that I wear. One of them is also credit counselor. So I do speak with a lot of people about repairing their credit, achieving their goals, and there's different advice that I would give based on what your goals are. And yes, there is a ton of fear, anxiety, shame with looking at your credit report. I always tell people that, you know, you must feel about your credit report like I feel about going to the dentist. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And then I have to go, and then I have to face it. But everything that we talk about with people is confidential. We're very understanding. We've literally seen it all. So nothing is really going to surprise us. And we will walk you through every step of looking at it, understanding how to improve your credit and what makes a score. So how to get yourself through the door, you can email me, you can contact me or my coworker, Brendan, and we'd be happy to help.
Thanks, Kim. You know, Kevin, I was thinking about something you were writing about scams and occasionally marketing, and I know that Grace will put information up or share out to social media about scams to look out for, because there are many, and sometimes we'll hear about them in the community. I was more thinking too, like if you become a victim of a scam, you can also be really embarrassed, and that could also be hurting your financial situation. So in the same advice, I guess, around just, not being afraid to come forward and letting us help you, are there any tips that you might offer about somebody who has fallen prey and just might feel so embarrassed about telling us that they have?
Sure. I think the first thing I would tell people is this isn't your fault. These scammers are really good at what they do. This is how they make money, right? So try not to be embarrassed of it. The consumer protection rules out there are written exactly for that. But there's timeliness of it. You need to come in, you need to talk to us. We need to start the process as soon as we can when you notice something's coming out of your account that doesn't belong there, or you think you may have done something wrong. We don't just with judgment. We see it all the time, and the sooner that you can come in and talk to one of our staff members, the MEAs at the front line are great with helping with this. And so I would just implore, you know, put that aside and come in, and you'll feel the relief that you have from sharing what happened with someone and getting it done. So sooner the better.
Thanks, Kevin. That did happen to me, and alternatives really helped me right away. I'm a secret shopper, and so scammers actually developed the same template for like having me investigate or, you know, be a secret shopper at a local store, and they use the exact wording and the exact information. So they prepay usually, and I tried to deposit a check and then realized and was notified right away. I like realized it was wrong, and alternatives just took care of it right away. And I was very embarrassed, and everybody was like, well, it's not your fault. So I just want to say firsthand, as a member, there's no judgment, and people help you as soon as they can, and they feel badly for you because some of these scams look exactly like the kind of documentation you're used to receiving. So thanks so much, alternatives, for taking care of that for me. This can go out to maybe James or Kim or both of you. What do you do if after the holidays you end up with some high interest credit card debt, whether or not you have a challenged credit score?
This is James, and I'll take that. I think the first thing to do would be getting out and understanding the strategy and how you're going to pay it off. If you want to take a approach of putting money to the side every month and doing that, that's a wonderful idea. Or you can come in and meet one of our financial counselors, or sit down and ask, what's the best way to look at high interest rates, put the right bucket of loans into the right scenario so you can have the most money for your payment being going towards the reduction of your bills. And I think if you put them in the order of pecking in which you have them, it's a wonderful way to get it done. Sometimes even after the holidays, you have 0% interest rates that are offered. Those are ways to hedge your risk and put money towards the principal reduction of loans so you can have a lower payment. Those are some ways in which I would start.
Yeah, I would also add, I work with this quite often, figuring out with people what the best strategy is to get rid of either the high interest rate debt or pay it down quickly. And I use powerpay.org quite often, and I'll put that in the chat box. That's a way that you can punch in the numbers for your debt online, and it will tell you how soon you can pay it off if you pay a little bit extra. And that's often called the snowball method. So that's one of the ways that I work with people to figure that out. And there's many more strategies. So if you're facing this, definitely reach out. I can help you.
Kim, is there a part of the snowball method that helps psychologically, like to be able to see your debt going away, that you feel spurs people on? Could you explain a little bit about what that method does for people? Like, because you said so much about money is emotion. What does it do for the emotions and for the stress in the clients that you've seen or the members that you've worked with?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's something I ask the people that I work with as well. Like, what's your motivator? Are you more motivated by saving more money, or are you more motivated by kicking some little credit card out of your wallet, you know? So some people, the strategy is to pay off a small debt first, just to feel like they got a big win, because sometimes there's a lot of debt to tackle, and it can be really daunting if they started with the highest interest rate first, but it was the biggest debt. You can just trudge along for years, and it can feel really hard, like you're not really getting anywhere. So sometimes with people, I say, knock out the little one first if you think that'll like give you the gusto to keep going. For me, I'm money motivated for sure. So I get tickled by seeing how much I'm going to be saving. So my strategy personally would be hit that high interest credit card first. And then that's what I love about powerpay.org. It tells you how long it's going to take. And if you put a little bit more, how much that's going to knock it off with time and money. So no matter how you're motivated, there's different strategies to get that taken care of.
Kim, I noticed that on credit card statements that now they have to disclose, like, if you only pay the minimum, like what ancient year you'll be before the debt is paid off. I'm assuming that that was the work of some sort of legislation, that they didn't necessarily do it willingly. I'm assuming that that's correct, that there was advocacy and legislation to make that happen.
Yes,
I
correct.
see a lot of
I
heads
feel like
nodding.
with anything that is progress for the people, it seems like there's somebody forcing that to happen. Yes.
Yeah, that was our own New York Senator Chuck Schumer. That's called the Schumer box, which is at the top of your credit card statement.
Nice. See, you learn something in these open houses every day. Anybody else have anything else to add along those lines around credit cards and debt? Anybody?
I can add one thing. One strategy is, if you're not going to be able to change around your spending, it's just to lower your payment on your debt, lower that interest rate, and you need to look around at what assets do you have to help with that. Some people may have a high interest rate credit card, but a car that they own free and clear. And so people, when they think of refinancing their car loan, they think, well, you need to have a car loan in order to refinance it. That's not true. You can come in with your free and clear car and get an automobile loan at a much lower rate, much lower rate than your credit card debt. So that could be a strategy of just taking out a different type of loan to pay off that debt, or finding another lender, like I think somebody mentioned, that just has a lower rate to transfer it to.
Thank you, Eric. We're doing a lot of advertising and marketing and promotion around what we have going on in lending. We really want you to contact us if you need a loan, refinancing, new loan, if you have existing products that you have questions about. Pretty much, we've done so much advertising in local media for James, our new chief lending officer, and our lending team, that I'm not surprised that if you just walk around the corner someplace in Ithaca, James's picture might be on a tree. That's how much advertising we've been doing, because we really want you to take out loans with us and to know that your money is safe with us, your money stays local, your money stays here. So James, I'd love it if you added on that. I know you're a modest person, so you're tolerating us putting your picture everywhere, like a daily parade, but it's really important that people know a little bit, I think, about why this mission-driven work is so important to you. So even though you're modest, if you could just share just a little bit, because some of the people who are here today, and we'll see this later, weren't on the other two open houses. So if you could talk a little bit about your philosophy around lending and why you want our folks to know that they can reach out to you and ask any question that they need to be able to make those important financial decisions for today that impact their tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thank you for that platform. I'm a firm believer in that anyone that's ever experienced poverty knows how extremely expensive it is to be poor. And I come from that kind of environment where I know how hard it is to have a dollar and how to make it stretch to get you from A to B. So I feel that based on that commitment that I have to being empowered, to be that person who's gone through that process, that I need to find a way to make it for people to experience that same feeling, to where they don't know where to turn, but then realize that with some help and some honest conversations and some honest feedback, you can move from where you want to be to where you want to go with the simplest things, and the products that we have are amazing. So when I look at the bigger picture, I see that there's a wealth divide across America, and particularly credit unions are so poised to help. The difference that we make in members' lives is, as you heard earlier, we look at you as an opportunity to move from where you are to where you want to be, instead of, oh, this is a credit score. Credit is a tool to give you a rate, to give you an idea of where you stand on an ability to repay. We don't look at that. We look at your last 2 years of history to find out what's going on, where you're trending. And I think that when you start looking at things like that, you help people realize that there's a way to get out of things. And I'm always a firm believer that to know better is to do better. When you find people who've done things that's gotten them into bad situations and they get out of it, they find themselves so much more valued in society, but also with their own finances they can control. They can do so many things that they never could before. getting to work is one of the most primary things that we have to do. COVID has relaxed that, but having a reliable vehicle, the cost of that for one person with great credit as opposed to marginal credit is the difference of hundreds of dollars. And then you amortize it over years, that's thousands. Then you get caught in the predatory lending, and all of a sudden you're in a debt trap that has you contained and conditioned to think that you can't get out of it. So I think that what we offer at Alternatives is unique because we, no matter where you are in your financial journey, we meet you and we say, how can we help? We surround you with products and services that are there to aid you, to help you grow, and to help you navigate towards an independence that makes you feel liberated. So for those reasons, I think that anyone out there that doesn't understand the credit union difference should come to Alternatives and see just how well we do what we do. It's not about talking with us. It's about walking with you, holding your hand and giving you a hand up instead of a handout.
Thanks, James. Anyone else have any other questions for us today? Or any comments that you'd like to make, or anything that you'd like to see in a future Financial Freedom Friday? We're going to be doing more of these in 2021. It's hard to believe that it's right around the corner, but next year we'll have several open houses for the community to drop into. We'll be doing smaller group chats where we'll talk to folks like Chris Kane and say, what's it like to work on the member experience and be the chief experience officer, and also look at development and those questions around how do you continue fundraising and talking the good talk about alternatives with people in our community, both our existing members and new donors and existing funders. So we'll be having those conversations. We'll have another financial roundtable. We want to let you know too that there's a really great event. I don't want to lose this opportunity to have Kathleen Clark be able to also mention this great small business conference we have coming up. We had a great conversation and did a podcast and an interview yesterday between Grace, Kathleen, and Heather Saffer, who will be the keynote speaker who won Shark Tank and Cupcake Wars and was on the Food Network. So that's February 4th. It's going to be a day of great engagement. I don't want to take the thunder away. So Kathleen, if you want to do a plug for the Small Business Conference, that would be great. We have amazing events coming up in 2021, and we want you to be a part of that.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for the opportunity. So as she mentioned, we have the Recharge and Connect Small Business Conference happening February 4th. Grace, maybe you could put the link, sorry to put you on the spot, but put the link in the chat for us. This is a really great, it's a full day conference. Yes, it's going to be taking place over Zoom, but before you groan over that, I can assure you, I've worked with my whole team of speakers. We've worked really hard to make sure that it is interactive, engaging. There's lots of activities planned so that we can connect with each other and not just sit and stare at the screen all day. It's a really great lineup of speakers. Number one, coming together as small business owners and just taking a breath and saying, wow, 2020 was really, really hard. Let's look forward to, moving beyond just survival mode in 2021 and thriving. How do we do that together? How do we build sustainable businesses that also allows us to have a lifestyle outside of our business, meaning creating some boundaries, learning how to say no, learning when to pivot and trust our gut. So it's some really, really great speakers. We also have some exciting things happening with some of our local business owners that will be featured throughout the day. They'll be participating as panel members in discussions. There's an accountability session taking place at the end where you can commit to some goals for yourself that you'll be working on and working with a partner to do that throughout the year. And we'll wrap it up with a really great facilitated networking session. So it is going to be a really amazing day. I'm looking forward to it. We've been working hard on it, and we'd be happy to have you join us. There are scholarships available. So if the registration fee is not possible for people, you can shoot me an email and we'll get you registered for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. I was saying, it's so exciting. I mean, I really want to go. I can't wait to go. And I was like, oh, I'm in marketing. Of course I'm going. Like, we're covering it. But I would go regardless. It's going to be a great event, and we look forward to seeing you there. Want to thank you all. Please take this last moment that you have a burning question, throw it in the chat box or get to me later. Yes, Chris, and then, Chris and then Millie.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for putting this open house together today. There were some really great tips and highlights, and Kathleen, your stories about of the businesses pivoting through a COVID environment, it was really powerful. And Michelle, thank you for giving me and the new yet to be titled series that will hopefully start at the end of January. So we'll be highlighting some of our businesses and our community members, so really digging a bit deeper and highlighting our relationships so we can make all these amazing things happen. We do it together. So again, thank you everybody for coming out and joining us today.
Thank you, Chris. Miss Millie, thank you.
Yes, thank you for doing this. This is wonderful. I always like to apprise myself of all the different things that are going on in terms of finances. And thank you for that stock information, Kim. I really appreciate that. I'm going to check that out. And certainly Kathleen's been a guardian angel. She's guided me through a lot of stuff when I open up my consulting group. I have a small LLC, and I'm still building my wealth as I make money and I give it away. I'm a retiree, so I give money away now. Retired educator. Congratulations, Mr. Hunter, joining the team. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person one day when it's safe. And I would like to share, I hope that you would be able to do more workshops this year for young people. Young people need to know a lot about financial literacy. You have kids going to college, they need to know how to manage their finances. So hopefully in the future, you can have some open houses or some webinars on, you have a great savings program with the schools, but I'd like to see it more extended out so that young people can take advantage as they navigate their journey through life. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe that the financial literacy programming online related to youth is something that's on the table and is being discussed. And I don't want to speak for other departments, but I believe I heard something like that, Kim, or something was going on. So if there's anything you want to add there about what 2021 looks like for that kind of programming, feel free. Or we can
I'll just throw a little bit out. We are really looking at how we can, not only our businesses are pivoting, but our programs here are pivoting to help educate more people in this current COVID environment. So being able to reach out to young people is super important. And so we're changing the way that we deliver that message. So stay tuned in 2021.
All right. Well, like I always say, even though the meeting was scheduled to end at 1:15, there's no Ithaca rule that you just have to stay till that happens on the clock. It sounds like people have asked their questions that they need to. Please feel free to reach back to us, any of us. You can get me at mberry@alternatives.org if you have follow-up questions about open houses or what you like to see. Thank you all today for the wealth of information. We always learn something as staff. We hope our community and our members learn something too. We're here to serve you. So please have a happy holiday season. You now have the tips around shopping local, but building a budget, reaching back to us so you can learn how to bridge the wealth divide, looking at examples on how you can manage your money and your credit, not being embarrassed about scams or challenge credit, knowing we're here for you. We're here to help you lessen the load. We're here for you because we share the same things that you do. We all think about extra stress at the holidays. None of us are impervious to it, but we have the strategies, tips, and tools and the love in our hearts to help you, our members in our community, know that we'll be here for you now and into the future. So with that, if there's anything closing that anyone wants to say, feel free to jump in, but I'm going to wish everybody a happy, healthy, safe holiday season. No Alternatives Federal Credit Union is here for you. And Eric, I'm going to have you close and just say, I don't know, you could say happy holidays, say whatever you want to. You're the CEO. You'll close the show. We'll unmute you so you can talk. There you go.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules to come meet with us today. We hope that you found this useful and enjoyable. I really appreciate all the presenters who gave their valuable advice. Excellent. And have a very happy, safe holiday season. And looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you.